We're really thrilled that for the first time we have a special guest joining us via Skype. Kristen Jacobson is joining us, and she is from the organization Autism Deserves Equal Coverage. So, Kristen, are you there?
I am. I am, Shannon. Hi.
Welcome to the show. So thrilled to have you here. And I wondered if you could start out by telling us about Autism Deserves Equal Coverage and what it is exactly that you're trying to accomplish.
Sure. Autism Deserves Equal Coverage is an organization that I started in about 2009. And our objective is to make sure that every individual with autism in the state of California is able to access treatment through their insurance so that they can become productive members of society. This treatment, we have treatment that's very effective for autism, but when we started, it wasn't really available to anybody through insurance, and we want to make sure that it's available to everybody through insurance.
Well, and this is a subject that you're very passionate about and that I'm very passionate about as well, but I'm wondering why. Why did you, there's so many different causes out there, why is this a topic that you care greatly about?
It's a topic I care greatly about for a couple of reasons. I mean, we have some family connections, and so I had personal, experiences that got me familiar with the condition. And then I spent my entire career doing insurance and reimbursement work. And I was very fulfilled doing that for end-stage cardiac patients and individuals with cancer. However, there had never been a personal connection. And then with autism, because of the personal family connection, my nephew has autism, or not my nephew, my cousin. It just got me, I kind of caught the bug. And also, I had never experienced in my career a condition that was so wholly excluded from treatment.
It's kind of crazy the way it's so wholly excluded, isn't it? I mean, when you explain it to people, at least when I do, they go, I don't understand. Why isn't it covered? It's a big question that a lot of people have.
Yeah, it is a really big question. Honestly, it's one that I completely didn't understand. It sort of never even occurred to me. I mean, I was working on getting third and fourth line therapy, really experimental treatments for end-stage cardiac disease, and I got FDA approval for them and coverage through Medicare. And then I came and discovered autism, and the standard of care wasn't covered. And when I talk to people, people have no idea.
Yeah.
People are actually shocked. They're like, what do you mean it's not covered? If my child gets autism, I can't get any treatment. And obviously, we've made a lot of progress since we started, but there are still large groups of large populations in California that still can't get any treatment.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you a little bit later about that because in some ways it almost feels, I'm thrilled with the progress that we've made, but it almost feels even more cruel now that there are a group of people who do get the coverage. So we've acknowledged now that, yes, this is important and these people have to get the coverage, but we're not going to give it to this whole other group of people. I feel a responsibility as a parent to make sure that I speak out on a regular basis because we shouldn't be leaving a whole group of people behind.
No, I completely agree. And I mean, we can certainly talk more about that because that's one of our big objectives for this year. I think I want to talk a little more about what you said about how people actually have no idea that this isn't covered.
Yeah.
I was working with a company, actually, it was eBay, and they called me to see if I could help them put their autism benefit together for behavioral health treatment. But the thing that was so sort of stunning to me was when we first started talking, they had thought that they were covering all the autism treatment. They had thought that they had put a benefit in 2 years prior that covered everything. They asked their administrator, their health plan administrator, they said, we want to cover this. And their administrator said, you're covering everything that needs to be covered. And so they thought they were covering everything. And then 2 years later, they discover through employees and through other means that they actually are excluding the primary treatment. And I think that speaks to sort of what happened to this condition was somehow health plans had managed to avoid all coverage of it really through about 2009, 2010, when we started, appealing and winning these cases. And they had a fairly large incentive to continue that. And a lot of the confusion about whether it was medically necessary or the confusion with companies feeling like they covered it came because the health plans actually had an incentive to perpetuate the confusion and even create the confusion. And so I think somehow that, that kind of prolonged the issue.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with this, though, Kristen. What can people do? How can they access more information about your organization so that they can hope to get involved?
They can go to the website. It's www.autismdeservesequalcoverage.com. There's a contact form there, and that you can fill out the contact form. And it's available both if you need help, because if you're a family and you need to access treatment, absolutely you can fill out the contact form. But also if you want to volunteer or if you want to make a donation, we are still working on getting the donation part of the website up and running. But you can, if you fill out the contact form and say you'd like to donate, we can certainly let you know how to do that. And then also, we're going to create a mailing list so that when there are events in Sacramento, when there are events where we need people to come out and to show mass support, or to call a legislator, you can get that information and then get engaged that way. Because even one person calling one legislator can make a huge difference. You never know when your voice and your legislator happens to be the one who is making a key decision on an issue that day. Yeah. So getting involved and getting on our mailing list will really help you stay informed about how you can help.